Most men do not fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they understand too late. Too late to keep the woman they once loved. Too late to save the self-respect that was worn down day by day. Too late to return to youth, when strength was abundant, but wisdom was empty. No one tells men this early on. Society only tells them to try harder, work more, sacrifice more. But no one warns them about the price. One day, a man looks back. He may have money, he may have status, but inside, there is an emptiness he cannot name. He asks himself, why did I do everything right, yet my life still feels wrong? This is not a rare story. It is the common destiny of modern men. They chase validation. They fear abandonment. They trade themselves to please the world. And then, when silence arrives, when no one needs them anymore, they finally begin to hear the truth. That truth is very simple and very cruel. Ancient Chinese philosophers warned of this thousands of years ago, but men only understand when everything has already left them. Modern men do not lack opportunities, they lack direction. They grow up in a world that constantly demands proof of worth, make more money, be stronger, succeed faster than others. But no one teaches them why they must do all of this. So men begin to run, running against the clock, running after expectations, running after the gaze of others. They work themselves to exhaustion to be recognized. They endure in silence to keep the peace. They swallow their pride to avoid being seen as failures. On the outside, they seem fine. On the inside, they are slowly eroding. They are afraid to stop, because if they stop, they must face the most terrifying question of all. Who am I when I no longer have a role to cling to? Modern men are trapped between two fears. On one side, failure. On the other, living an entire life without ever knowing who they truly are. They love, but are not respected. They give, but are not appreciated. They try, yet still feel they are never enough. This is not because they are weak. It is because they were taught wrongly from the very beginning. And while they continue to run, time quietly takes away the most precious thing of all, a man's self-mastery. More than 2,000 years ago, Lao Tzu said a very short sentence, so short that modern men often overlook it. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is truly powerful. This line was not written to inspire. It was written as a warning. Because most men spend their lives trying to defeat others. They want to surpass friends. They want recognition from superiors. They want to prove to women that they are worthy. But in that battle, they forget a more dangerous enemy than all the rest, themselves. Impulsiveness, the fear of rejection, the craving for attention, an ego that constantly needs to be stroked. Lao Tzu understood this deeply. He knew that a man could conquer the entire world and still be a slave to his own emotions. Such a man is not free. He has only exchanged external chains for internal ones. Ancient philosophy does not tell men to give up. It teaches them to change the battlefield. No longer the outer world, but the inner one. Because when a man learns to master himself, he no longer needs to prove anything to anyone, and that is when true power begins. Observe two men. The first one talks constantly. He explains. He justifies. He tries to prove that he is right, capable, worthy. The second man is different. He speaks little. He observes. He acts only when necessary. The first reacts. The second controls. When insulted, the first becomes angry. When disrespected, he seeks immediate revenge. His ego always comes first. The second does not rush. He understands that not every battle is worth fighting. His silence is not weakness. It is a choice. The first seeks validation. He lives through the eyes of others. His emotions rise and fall with praise and criticism. The second builds value from within. He does not need applause. He knows who he is, even when no one is watching. Now ask yourself honestly, when facing pressure, who are you more like? Do you react emotionally, or do you control your response? Ancient philosophy does not judge. It only holds up a mirror. And in that mirror, every man can see clearly where he stands on the path of maturity. No punishment comes immediately. That is what makes it dangerous. A man's mistakes do not explode like accidents. They accumulate silently. Every time you react instead of control, every time you seek validation instead of inner strength, every time you ignore your inner voice to please others, nothing happens. No one warns you. Life goes on. Until one day, you realize you have gone very far, but have no idea where you are going. That is when the cost appears. Respect slowly fades. Relationships become shallow. People stop listening to you as they once did. Not because you lack value, but because you never placed your own value first. Ancient philosophers understood this well. They knew that a man who does not master himself early will pay with many years of regret later. You can learn this lesson while you are young, when there is still time to correct course, when strength is still in your hands. Or you can learn it later, when everything has already left, and the lesson becomes many times more expensive. Life always gives you a choice, but it never offers a discount for delay. No one comes to tell you when that moment is. There is no bell, no clear milestone. Only one day, you wake up and feel that you are no longer the man of your own life. You still go to work, still smile, still fulfill your responsibilities. But deep inside, something has been silent for a very long time. Self-mastery, calmness, self-respect. Ancient philosophy does not ask how many times you have failed. It asks only one question. Are you mastering yourself, or are you living as a reaction to circumstances? Every day, you answer that question by how you react, by how you remain silent, by how you allow others to define your worth. Not tomorrow, not when things get better, but right now. Because if you do not choose self-mastery today, then 10 years from now, another man will look back on this life and wish he had heard these words sooner. The final question is this: will you be the man who learns this lesson now, or the one who only understands when it is already too late?